Look, there is more to Florida than just being the Sunshine State. And we're going to cover the 10 reasons people are considering when making the move here. I moved here 30 years ago with my wife and my two sons, and I will never forget the first time I set foot in Florida and took the jaw-dropping drive over the Courtney Campbell Causeway from Tampa International Airport to Clearwater Beach. The song Nothing Compares with Celine Dion played on the radio, and it felt like we were cruising on water. The beauty was just mind-blowing, and I was born and raised in Germany and also lived in southern Spain for a few years. And on top of that, together with my wife, we have visited all states in the US except Kansas, Arkansas, and Hawaii. But always came back here to Florida because it's the best state to live year-round. And please comment below if you agree. And if you don't, well, you have to be nice and also convince me why you think this is not the case. And since I have lived here for over 30 years, if it wasn't for my heavy Arnold accent, I could be considered a native Floridian. So we're covering 10 reasons why people are making the move here to Florida and why you could be next on the list. Now let's just dive into the stats and data of the Florida housing market, which is number 10 on my list. So overall, the median home price in Florida is $404,900. And driving from north to south, you will find Jacksonville at $386,748. Pensacola is at $393,788. Tampa is at $423,000. Orlando at $455,120, Naples at $578,000, and Miami at $597,000. However, if you compare these prices to New York, Canada, and California, it's way cheaper option to live in Florida. Now, as with any states, housing prices tend to be higher in urban areas, in Florida, especially along the coastline. While you can still snag a single-family home in Orlando or the Ocala area in the low 200,000s, you won't find anything right now in swanky Palm Beach under $4 million, which shows you that Florida provides a wide range of housing options that cater to every budget. And that's why people from New York, New Jersey, Canada, California, and even faraway places as South America and Europe are flocking to Florida. If you look at Miami, the median home price is $597,000 compared to New York at $839,000. Or look at Tampa, St. Petersburg with $425,000 compared to Boston's $984,000. And even swanky Palm Beach, the median sales price here is about $1.6 million compared to East Hampton with $2.7 million. Now, both of those numbers are median numbers because, as I said, right now you can't find anything below $4 million in Palm Beach, and certainly you can't find anything for $2.7 million in the Hamptons, but those are median numbers over the last 12 months. So with that said, buyers are not just chasing the sunshine, they are chasing the incredible home values. Whether you're a city dweller, a boater, or you crave the countryside, Florida got you covered. With the Gulf of Mexico on the west and the Atlantic on the east coast of the state, you can have an oceanfront, a lakeside, a horse ranch, or a place in the city. The choice is yours. When people move from out of state, this is one of the things that they absolutely love because they are able to sell their current home, pocket a lot of equity, or use that money to put a significant down payment to buy that house down even more. And you would not believe, or actually, you would believe the stories that we hear every single week of people selling their $1 million home in California or New York. And whenever they come to Florida, they're getting homes twice the size, twice the square footage, sometimes even 3 times the square footage. And they are still able to pocket some of that money left over. So overall, just from a housing standpoint, especially for those of you right now that you feel like you're being priced out of the market, because of continuing price increases and appreciation throughout the nation, and despite everybody saying the market is going to crash, well, the alternative is to make a move. If you are a remote worker or you work from home, this might be an alternative you're looking for, which is to move to Florida. So number 9 is going to be the tax advantages. There are several tax advantages you can utilize here in the state of Florida. And number 1 is definitely no state income tax. Yep, that's right. One of the outstanding advantages of living in Florida is the absence of Florida state income tax. Florida residents enjoy the benefit of not paying any state income tax, allowing individuals and their families to retain more of their hard-earned money. And the fact that the state has no income tax means it doesn't charge state taxes on Social Security either, which are considered income. In addition, there are also no state taxes on retirement income, such as 401k plans or IRAs. This is a considerable advantage for a retiree thinking of Florida, even though most aren't working full-time jobs. And by the way, my name is Klaus Sin, and I lead a real estate team here in the Palm Beaches, brokered by eXp Realty, which was just named the largest independent brokerage in the world. And if you're thinking about making that move, here to the Palm Beaches or actually anywhere else, feel free to check the description below. You'll find all of our information there. We're happy to help you to make a relaxed and stress-free move to the Palm Beaches or wherever you want to go. We can even help you sell your current place anywhere in the US and 24 other countries. And that brings us to inheritance estate taxes. In addition to the lack of state income tax, Florida also does not have an inheritance tax, also called estate tax. The Florida inheritance tax is absolutely zero. As a beneficiary to a deceased person in Florida does not own any state taxes or inherited property taxes in Florida. The absence of the inheritance tax combined with the absence of no Florida state income tax makes Florida an attractive place for wealthy individuals wanting to reduce their tax liability. Many individuals with significant state inheritance taxes have moved to Florida from other states just for this reason. Another big benefit Florida is called the homestead law. In addition to an extra layer of asset protection, the homestead law reduces the taxable value of your primary residence and subsequently your tax liability. Now, I don't want to really explain the homestead law here because that's a lot to go over, but if you get in any problems and somebody has a judgment against you, they cannot touch your primary residence or have limited access to it. Let's say it this way, but you need to get legal advice on that. I'm not giving any legal advice because I'm a real estate agent, I'm not an attorney, right? But the homestead law has many different things like the protection, asset protection, and then you have your reduced taxes on the property. So the homestead law reduces the taxable value of your primary residence and subsequently your tax liability. There are additional exemptions for certain veterans and active military. In addition, to save our homes, amendment limits the annual increase in the tax assessed value of your primary residence so that you're not being taxed out. Meaning the longer you own the home, the more you're safe. And to make this even better, there is something called portability. Portability means that as long as you move within the state of Florida, you can move your property tax savings to your next home, which can save you a significant chunk of money on your future tax bills. There are also some limitations, but most tax collectors, they have a portability calculator on their website, and that will give you an exact amount of what to expect. But Florida tax advantages are not just for older residents. Younger payers and young families can also benefit from moving to Florida and building a business and live in the sunny business climate because Florida does not tax sole proprietors, limited partnerships, or LLCs. Charges no payroll tax and has only a 5.5% corporate tax rate for corporations, like for larger corporations, or I think it's called C corporations. And not to mention the favorable exemptions for clean energy operations. That brings us to number 8, which is the cost of living. While the cost of living in Florida is 1% higher than the national average, when it comes to necessities such as clothing, food, and groceries, they are around 2% lower than in the rest of the country. And while housing is 4% higher than the national average, Compare this with New York, which is a whooping 44% higher than Florida. California is 38.2% higher, and the Massachusetts area is 31% higher than Florida. As I said, you simply get significantly more house for your money, and you pay less for basic needs to stretch your budget and maintain a comfortable lifestyle. However, according to Insure.com, Florida is the most expensive state in the nation for car insurance. Wonder why? But that brings us to number 7, which is job opportunities. No, as the Sunshine State, Florida is not only a popular destination for tourists, but it's also becoming an increasingly appealing haven for businesses seeking a thriving environment conducive to growth. With no state income tax for the LLCs and limited partnerships and a low corporate tax rate of only 5.5% for large corporations, and the absence of payroll tax, Florida is attracting major corporations and entrepreneurs from all over the world. Florida's labor force has grown for the last, been steady or remained in growth for the last 35 consecutive months, with a year-over-year growth of 3% in September 2023. That's a full percentage point faster than the national rate of 2% over the same time period. And today, Governor Ron DeSantis, he announced Florida has continued to set the standard for economic success. Florida's private sector job growth rate increased by 0.5%, which in numbers means 42,800 extra jobs in July 2023. That's five times faster than the national rate. Cities like Miami and Orlando are becoming tech hubs, attracting startups and tech giants alike. From software development to cybersecurity, there's a wealth of opportunities for tech-savvy professionals. Lockheed Martin, global aerospace and defense leader, relocated its space division headquarters to Titusville, Florida. Lumina Technologies, a pioneering company in autonomous vehicle technology, they set up their primary operational facilities in Orlando. Argo AI, a leader in self-driving technology, they have chosen Miami as one of their test markets. Florida's financial and real estate sectors, they are also robust. If you are a financing professional or working in the real estate industry, there are plenty of opportunities to grow your career in the state. Call me if you need a real estate job. Renowned as one of the world's largest investment firms, Blackstone made headlines when it decided to move to Miami. Goldman Sachs, everybody knows Goldman Sachs, established a presence in West Palm Beach, focusing on asset management and wealth management services. A leading global payment solution provider, PaySafe, decided to relocate its US headquarters from Texas to St. Petersburg, Florida. And Bloomberg Capital, a venture capital firm with a keen eye for innovation, they opened an office in Miami to tap into the exploding startup scene. Florida's hospitality industry is another major player. With its thriving tourism, you'll find an abundance of jobs in hotels, in restaurants, and even in management. So if you are in the service industry, you're in the right place. Then there's the healthcare sector, which is huge in Florida, offering opportunities for doctors, nurses, therapists, and administrators. I really could go on and on and on. There is really no shortage of job opportunities. Florida has something for everyone, which brings us to number 6, which is the weather. That's why I am here. So first off, Florida has the classical tropical climate, which you'd expect from a place nicknamed the Sunshine State. Talking about Miami, the Florida Keys, and most of the southern part of the state, also called South Florida, here you'll find hot and humid summers, with temperatures often exceeding 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 32 degrees Celsius, and brief afternoon thunderstorms that can be quite spectacular, but are usually short-lived, giving way to beautiful sunsets. The winters are mild, making it a popular destination for snowbirds, those folks escaping from colder states. Now, if you head north, going up towards Tampa, you experience a slightly different climate. Central Florida offers a mix of tropical and subtropical weather. Summers are still hot, but you also get your fair share of afternoon storms, which can be great for those who enjoy spontaneous water park visits. The winters here are more comfortable, and it's a fantastic time to visit theme parks and explore the great outdoors without the intense heat. Heading even further north to places like Jacksonville, Tallahassee, or the Panhandle, you'll encounter a more temperate climate. Summers are warm but not as sweltering, and winters can even get a bit chilly. Yes, it can occasionally frost in these areas, which might surprise some people when they think of Florida. But hold on, we are not done yet. Let's talk about hurricane season. Florida is prone to hurricanes, and the season typically runs from June to November. So be prepared, especially if you're visiting during this time. It is crucial to keep an eye on the weather outlets. Now, on the positive side, unlike the earthquakes in California, the ice storms in the Northeast, and the tornadoes in the Midwest, hurricanes are very predictable and you can get prepared for them. And if necessary, evacuate in time. And while Florida's diverse weather patterns can be a blessing and a challenge at the same time, it also means there's something for everyone, no matter your preference. Whether you're looking for sunny beach days, exciting thunderstorms, or a taste of a mild winter, Florida's got it all. And if you currently live or you have lived in Florida, give us your thoughts on the weather. Leave a comment. I'm sure you have your own opinion, right? And that brings us to number 5, which is going to be family friendly. One thing you'll love about Florida is that it's a year-round hub of family-friendly events and festivals. From food fairs to cultural celebrations, from water sports to nature lovers, there's always something exciting happening that the whole family can enjoy. Florida has a wide range of theme parks like Disney, Epcot Center, Universal Studios, as well as museums, science centers, and interactive learning experience. From the Kennedy Space Center to marine biology programs, your kids can really enjoy the time, and they can grow both their knowledge and their imagination. And you have in Busch Gardens, for example, in the Tampa Bay area, great park with a lot of wildlife in there. So much to learn and so much fun to have. There's really no shortage of excitement and entertainment for the whole family. Now let's talk about schools and colleges. Florida's education system is diverse and expansive, featuring a range of public and private schools that cater to students from preschool through higher education. The state is known for its commitment to educational choice, offering various programs such as charter schools, magnet schools, and virtual schools. In higher education, Florida is home to numerous well-regarded institutions, including public universities such as the University of Florida and Florida State University, like FSU, as well as other private institutions like the University of Miami and Rollins College. The state's universities contribute significantly to research and innovation across various fields. However, we could do an entire video or more about the school systems here. And if you have kids, it'll pay off if you do some research on sites like niche.com or greatschools.com. That's where we get our information as well. Now, number 4 is traffic. Traffic in Florida can be a real headache. And honestly, it's a problem all over the place right now. But when it comes to traffic nightmares, Miami takes the cake. There is just no movement. Getting to or coming from Miami can be, well, a nightmare. Fort Lauderdale isn't much better, but as you head north to Palm Beach and more, it becomes more manageable. The further north you go, the better it gets, generally speaking. But here's the kicker. Whether you're going north from Naples on I-275 to St. Pete, or east from I-4 Orlando to Tampa, or going on 95 from Miami to Jacksonville, which I-95 is running alongside Florida's Turnpike for a good distance, or any of the opposite directions, there is never ever a guarantee you won't get stuck on any of the highways. I use Waze for everywhere I'm going, even if it's just a short drive from home. But there is some good news. So Florida high-speed train called Brightline, which is currently serving Miami to Orlando, it is supposed to be expanded to Tampa and Jacksonville. This expansion should bring some relief and alternative travel options, which is definitely something to look forward to. I love the train, so it's great. I can't wait until it's here. I think I'd rather sit in a comfortable train having a drink versus being stuck in my car on the turnpike on 95. If you've got any stories or tips on dealing with the traffic here in the Sunshine State, please share them with us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell and be the first to know about more updates on living in Florida. So number 3, that's the crime rate. Well, everyone is always concerned about safety, especially the areas they're thinking about making a move to, and especially if they're coming from a safe area in a state they're currently living in or the city they are currently in. They want to have the confidence to know that they are moving to a safe place. The latest data reported by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement showed that the Florida crime rate dropped to a record 50-year low. Violent crime held steady year over year at 3.8 incidents per thousand people, putting Florida below the national violent crime rate of 4 per thousand. But the Sunshine State did even one better when it comes to property crime, reporting 17.7 incidents per thousand versus 19.6 nationwide. And while Florida currently ranks in about the middle of all states, the numbers are getting better and better every year. The incidence of property crime dropped 17% year over year, and Cape Coral actually on the Gulf Coast has actually made it to be number 16 of the safest cities to live in the entire United States. As a comparison, California has doubled the crime rate of Florida. Now, obviously, crime rates vary from city to city and even from neighborhood to neighborhood, and you should always do your due diligence when selecting a neighborhood to move to. Crimecrate.com or niche.com and neighborhoodscout.com. There are some great websites to research to get more data. Which brings us to number 2, which is diversity. So Florida has a very diverse population comprising individuals from various cultures and backgrounds. In terms of diversity, Florida holds an impressive 7th position in the country, boasting a 68.1% diversity index score, according to worldpopulationreview.com. Florida can be characterized as a cultural melting pot, profoundly shaped by immigrants from Cuba, Colombia, Peru, El Salvador, and various other regions. This has given rise to a dynamic and thriving Hispanic community. The wealth of heritage and traditions brought by Hispanic immigrants has played a significant role in shaping the cultural landscape of the state, especially South Florida. The influence evidences in diverse facets of Floridian life, including cuisine, music, art, and other traditions, festivals. The celebration of Hispanic culture is at the heart of it, and the robust Hispanic community in Florida enhances the tapestry of cultures coexisting within the state. This environment not only embraces diversity, but it also fosters cross-cultural exchange. Floridians are fortunate to interact with individuals from all walks of life, broadening their perspectives and cultivating a better understanding of various customs, languages, and traditions. And I'll tell you what, it's very difficult to beat some of the good, authentic Latino cuisine. It's amazing. Which brings us to drum roll number 1. The reason why people are moving to Florida, lots to do. I mean, there are almost endless opportunities of things to do here. Whether you are a nature enthusiast, a thrill seeker, or just looking for some fun in the sun, Florida has something for everyone. From the pristine beaches of the Gulf Coast to the vibrant coral reefs down in the Keys, Florida is a water lover paradise. I mean, who doesn't like to walk in the sand and jump in the ocean when it's 90 degrees or more outside? Florida has 825 miles of beautiful white sandy beaches, and they are a national treasure, and they are here for you to enjoy. And whether you are deep sea fishing in the Atlantic Ocean or prefer freshwater lakes and streams, Florida has plenty of it all. And talking about boating, Florida, not for Fort Lauderdale, is a boater's paradise. The Florida International Boat Show displays the largest in-water yacht show on Earth, and it welcomes over $3 billion, not million, $3 billion worth of luxury yachts, sport fishers, and tenders. And they will be displayed in 7 locations around Fort Lauderdale, including the show epicenter at Bahama. And with only 74 nautical miles to the Bahamas and an average crossing time of about 3 hours by boat, it's a boat or stream. I did that crossing. I loved it. And I did it more than once. So better you grab your snorkel gear and dive into the crystal clear waters to discover the incredible marine wildlife that calls Florida home. Or if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, going kayaking through the mangrove tunnels in Marco Island, or you go paddleboarding along the picturesque rivers in the Northwest, from diving in the Keys to water skiing in Orlando or jet skiing in the Palm Beaches, there is no shortage of water sports. Next up, hiking. Florida is home of an extensive network of trails, from the lush landscapes of the Ocala National Forest to the scenic beauty of the Florida Keys Overseas Heritage Trail. And speaking of wildlife, get ready to encounter alligators, manatees, and an array of bird species in the diverse ecosystem of the Everglades. Fox and deers and sometimes coyotes in the woods of Tallahassee. Or Florida black bears if you're lucky. And nothing is better than swimming with dolphins, I can tell you that, or having them next to your boat. That's just awesome. So don't forget your camera. These moments are Instagram worthy. Now, for the true adrenaline junkies out there, how about soaring through the treetops on a zipline? Florida offers some fantastic zipline experiences that provide breathtaking views and an exhilarating rush. Or get your pilot license, like I did. There is so many airports around here that offer a great way to get your pilot license, and combine it with a vacation in Florida and you can get that done in no time. It's a great way to see the state from a whole new perspective. So whether you are into hiking, boating, fishing, water activities, wildlife encounters, theme parks, or ziplining, Florida truly has it all. If you got a favorite outdoor activity in Florida or a hidden gem you'd like to share, or if I missed the reason why maybe you moved to Florida or why you're thinking about moving to Florida, make sure you leave a comment below and let me know what I left out. But otherwise, those are the 10 reasons that we see why the influx of people making their move to Florida, especially here in the Palm Beaches, where we are located, and we absolutely love it. And this is the great thing about Florida, that again, it's something for everybody, and you're probably going to end up better off financially here. Less restrictions, more business friendly, and less taxes, which is something I think most people appreciate. If you don't, well, then you should stay in those other states where you pay much higher taxes or have more restrictions and less business opportunities. But otherwise, there are so many advantages living in the Sunshine State of Florida. And again, if you are thinking about making that move, or maybe you're thinking about selling or investing, and that could be in 9 days or in 9 months, don't forget to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call, which is our personal favorite. We would love to talk to you about it and make it as stressless as possible and show you around. All of our information is in the description below, and we love to talk to you and maybe show you around in person. So get ready for the next video, because I'll be back.